Happy Whiskey Wednesday, everyone. I'm Bologna. I'm back with another Bourbon Bums review. Not so much of a review today. Today I'm going to be recommending summer whiskeys, anything that's crushable during the summertime. I know I like to recommend high proof bourbons. I'm a fan of high proof bourbons and whiskeys and ryes. But we can't be having that in the summertime. Today's the first day that it hit 90 degrees into Chicagoland area. That gets hot. It's going to be hot all summer. We can't be bringing, where am I going? I'm like a weatherman, a bad weatherman. That bottle right there. Those Old Forester barrel proof single barrels, it's diesel fuel. Can't be drinking that in the summertime. A lot of the times, it runs too hot, you're going to overheat. So I have 5 bottles for you that you could bring to a barbecue, to a tailgate, even once the sun set and, you got a fire out and you're just sitting around the campfire, you want to drink a whiskey. I got some lower proof offerings that are still full flavored and will get the job done in the summertime. So my first recommendation, if you guys remember last year, I believe I talked about it. It might have been on Instagram, might have been somewhere else. We talked about Jack Daniel's Bonded and how Whiskey Advocate gave this bottle their Whiskey of the Year award, which I thought is crazy at the time. The same time that released, Jack Daniel's Triple Mash released. And I thought this was a much better offering, much better bottle than the Jack Daniel's Bonded. And I know everything's subjective, everyone has their own opinions and things, but if you thought Jack Daniel's Bonded was the Whiskey of the Year, you should get your license revoked. What license that is, I don't know yet, but Jack Daniel's Triple Mash. I like this. So I typically don't have whiskey on the rocks or, even with the big rocks cube or, with ice. But for some reason, Jack Daniel's Triple Mash with a big old cube, awesome. It's like a combination. One, I feel like I've really come into the malted whiskey. I'm becoming a big malt fan. And this has a lot of the honey, malt, and soft oak. That's what says it right there on the bottle. I get a lot of malt, but with the ice, it proofs it down, it blends it down. It's just a sweet, like I get a bunch of honey and a bunch of just like malt, whatever that is, like malted chocolate or like the Whoppers, the candy Whoppers, not the Whopper Burger King Whoppers, the candied Whoppers. This is 100 bottle and bond, 100 proof, easy sipper in the summertime. So that's my first recommendation. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm making a meal of this video, by the way. Bear with me. It's late. We got a Whiskey Wednesday video to do. I watched Ted Lasso. I didn't expect it to be 100 or an hour and 15 minutes, whatever it was. I'm rambling. Bardstown Bourbon Company's Bottle and Bond Origin Series Wheated Whiskey. This is my wheated selection for summer crushable whiskeys. I also did a review on this channel. I love it. I think it's the best value in wheated whiskeys today. I've yet to try Green River. I've heard really good things about that. I hope to try that in the next couple upcoming weeks. But you can't go wrong with the Bardstown bottle. It's 100 proof. It's full flavored. And it's just a really, really good wheated offering. I called it the Weller Killer. And when it came out, I thought, wow, people are going to get their hands on it and you're not going to be able to find it because everyone's calling it the Weller Killer. Couple months rolled out. Now it's easier to find. I've seen it sitting on shelves. I've seen it, not marked up for MSRP, right around $60-ish, $55, I believe. Very good. Very good. My favorite summertime wheated whiskey. I'm going to be drinking a lot of this summer. My next bottle, if you want to go a little bit higher proof, it's 104 proof. Four Roses Small Batch Select. For some reason, between the Four Roses Small Batch, which is one of the bottles that I think bourbon for beginners should be drinking, and then the Four Roses Single Barrel, which is another one of their really good, readily available offerings. The single barrel is at 100 proof. This is at 104 proof. I think this drinks less hot than the single barrel, probably because it's batched and it's blended. And single barrels can run hot, even though those single barrels are at 100 proof. I really like Four Roses. I really like what they do with their recipes and how they blend floral. I get a lot of floral and spicy notes to them, but then every so often it's just a wave of fruit. And it's usually dark fruit. It's like plums, almost like I don't want to say grapes, but definitely like plum. Every so often I'll get like an apricot or something like that. But Four Roses does some really good stuff. And again, readily available. You can find this at a grocery store. You can find it at my local Jewel. You don't have to go around searching for it. And it's a good bottle to have, around the campfire and, not run too hot. The next bottle is probably the hardest to find, but I find myself drinking this in the summertime all the time, and that's Eagle Rare 10-year bourbon from Buffalo Trace. It sucks that, when I started drinking whiskey, I could find this for $45 at my local store, in my local bodega, all the time. If shout out HBIC, if HBIC needed a bottle, I would say, hey, you need a bottle of Eagle Rare? I'll come pick one up. He could find it at his store, and this would always be a summertime drinker. Now it's getting harder to find. Luckily, we're still able to find them, but it's definitely harder to purchase. But it's that classic Buffalo Trace notes. Strawberry. I get strawberries like crazy on this. Red fruits. Strawberry, honey, vanilla. Really, really good. So if you can't find Eagle Rare, my final bottle that I'll recommend, and it comes as no surprise to everyone because I feel like everyone knows that I love this in the summertime. Redwood Empire's Lost Monarch. I get that Eagle Rare is a single barrel bourbon. Oh my God. And this is a blend, but I get a lot of the same, like red fruit, honey, caramel notes to it at $35. And that is also readily available. So yeah, those are my summertime whiskey recommendations. I don't know, I'll be bringing all of those to Whiskey at Comiskey's in the summertime because, like I said, we can't be doing my weatherman thing is bad. There it is. Those. We can't be bringing the diesel fuel. Even the Weller Full Proof back there tends to run a little hot, at 114. Anything over like 110, 115 in the summertime, in the dead of summer, once you're inside and the air conditioning doesn't matter. But if you're in a parking lot in lot B, in the middle of the day, can't be drinking those 120 proof bottles all the time. So I hope this was informative. I hope this was good. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with this, but I feel like it's a topic that not a lot of people are talking about nowadays, or at least not a lot of people are recommending summertime whiskeys, because I think there is a time and a place for a lot of different type of bottles. If I'm thinking fall whiskeys, I'm thinking a toasted barrel. I'm thinking of, like something like that. Sometime in the Christmas time, something with a red wine finish, a finished whiskey might be good for the Christmas time. So there is a time and a place for certain bottles and certain occasions. And so those 5 bottles would be my summertime whiskey. I'll be back next week. We have a bunch of fun things planned. Jason, HBIC, once again, shout out. He opened a bottle of Jack Daniel's 12-year at the tailgate today for the Sox game. I'm hoping to get my hands on a little bit of that. I'll review it on this channel because I've heard really, really good things about it. And I'm hoping it lives up to the hype. So I've got that to review. I've got a bunch of different nips and handshakes that people have been giving me. We're going to do some of those. And then, just the general releases. So we're just back and getting going, and we're excited to bring more whiskey content to the Chicago Sports Bums YouTube channel. So cheers, guys. I'll see you next